Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy, my channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to talk about gold and silver. Again, I'm going to do some analysis, not all of it, based off of pattern recognition. I think it's important to understand where we are in the pattern. It's no doubt, at least if you've been watching my videos and been on the channel for a little while, that we are in an undervalued state, that gold has not accounted for the money supply. That ratio-wise, gold is very cheap in relationship to other assets like the Dow or S&P 500, especially in stocks, and that we are increasing our purchasing power against real estate, precious metals, that is. So today I'm going to go over and try to better clarify where we are with some of these metals. I'm going to go over gold, silver, platinum, and I'm going to go over some of the mining companies, and then I'll do the other technical analysis approach after to see what we're doing on the very short term. Again, these are really big picture views. And what I'm trying to do is identify where we are in the pattern. So when you zoom in, you get the same kind of consolidation patterns as when you zoom out. And what I'm trying to figure out is where are we when you zoom way out? And that'll tell us if we're going to have a gigantic bull market coming, if we're going to have inflation, if the expectations of the market, kind of what they are. And I think I've got it nailed down here. Again, it's basically Elliott wave analysis, but I'm not using Elliott wave. I'm using the exact data. I'm taking data from other charts and applying it to the charts that we have. Because if this thing scribes out roughly the same pattern over and over, we should see it on different time scales, which we do. So the pattern, I think, is valid. So now we just have to identify where we are within the pattern and what potentially could come up next. So here we go. Let's jump in. I'm going to start directly with gold. So what I have here is gold itself. I've got the Ethereum chart that's all scribed out here. Sorry about the bottom portion. I was putting multiple charts on here. But we have the Ethereum portion on the left. We've got gold on the right. And I wanted to see what gold was doing. Now, this thing scribes out basically a perfect pattern next to each other. We've got the pattern in the 70s, scribed out the pattern right here. It is uncanny how picture perfect this pattern is in relationship to the pattern of Ethereum. Again, this is a massive pattern on the right-hand side here in terms of length and in years and in size. It just is Ethereum's ripping through it even faster. We've got the large run up here, which is this pattern here. We've got the arrow, and the arrow is in the location where it should be. I should move it just a hair over, but I was almost off the page. But down here is where the arrow is pointing. We popped higher, and I am proposing that we are most likely where this star is at, right here, before a very large move in gold's about to happen. Now, this move can be gigantic because this is over a very long period of time. It's also over a very large time frame, like moving upward. So the large move, I think, is coming, and this is all skewed upward, probably from all the money printing. And then eventually we'll have an inflationary scare of some sort, is my guess. And we should see a drastic move higher. So I'm proposing that this here is this here. We came down. We've got this pattern in here, which is right there. That's where the arrow should be pointing, which is the pattern here. And hopefully this is aligned right. I mean, looking at the valuations, I think this is aligned all correctly. So yeah, that looks pretty good. Next, I zoomed in. So I took this and I zoomed in on this side because it's kind of hard to see. I zoomed in on just the later years. And I think that we've got this pattern here is that. We came down. We've got the up and over pattern, which is this guy here. Then we move up and over. We're kind of moving sideways here. And what I'm proposing is that the star is where the star is aligning right here. and it kind of looks like it's got that same type of pattern forming with this downward move up. That pattern there is a specific pattern that is seen right at here if you were to look at these patterns. And I'm trying to get better at reading them, but it looks like this is the case. Yeah, this here, so this first guy is this guy, this second one is this one. So the arrow could be over just a little bit on that one. Now, this is silver. Silver's got the same exact pattern as well. We've got the star there. We've got the downward run. It just looks a little bit different. This thing ran all the way up and came back down. That is probably one of these guys in here. This guy here is, I think, this guy here. And then the big one is this one here. Remember, these get all jammed up. Then we went sideways a little bit. And I think that we're coming on up here. Somewhere where this star's at is over here. That one's pretty jammed up and messy. Not nearly as clean as... Now, this is zoomed in for silver. I zoomed in on the right-hand side. That's all jammed up because it was so jammed up. So if you look at this here, we can see that the pattern coming down, we can see this guy. We've got the little hump there. This guy is this guy here. And that we're coming on up and trying to create either this portion here or where the star's hump is. Somewhere in there. We're trying to create that. Here is platinum. I did it for platinum as well. We went through this cycle all through here. The hump, where the star's at, and then the launch. You can even see the pullback here. It's got that little signature trait. Then we pull back here and we're starting this pattern over again. We got the star where it's at. The star and this is all jammed up together. Or no, star, that's jammed up. All over here, it's all jammed up together. It's kind of hard to read. I didn't do a zoom out on that one. Now, platinum experienced the same thing. We've got the star here where it comes down and across. We come down, we come up to the running thing here. We've got the downward move where this arrow's at that came down right here. And then we've got the star where the little hump is here. And then we took off. So I'm proposing that these charts, we're putting in a potential. We're on this little star side over there for all of them. And then looking at rhodium. Rhodium also had this star alignment. You need to really start looking at how this thing pulled back and how it worked itself out, and then it launched higher. So I'm hoping that we are where the star's at on some of these. This here's basically this hump right there. So this looks pretty. I mean, this carves it out very nice. The way it looks just like this. Now, looking at some of the companies, this is Ely Gold. The line is the line there. We've got the arrow pointing to this move lower. And then we come on up and move sideways. And then we move on higher and create this kind of hump here. And then we create this pattern that looks very similar to the pattern in here, which makes me think that gold, silver, and platinum are where the star's at, and that we're actually at the star right at the beginning of a very large move that's about to come at any second. And we're seeing that with confirmation in the mining companies. Again, we've got this guy going across. If you were to chart it all out, we come down, up and down, which is this move here. Is this thing all scrunched up? Then we go up and across, and then we create this little move here, where it's right now, if you zoom in on this, and I didn't zoom in on it, it looks exactly the same as this right here before a very large move could potentially come, and I think that's where the star is at. Zooming in on some of these companies, kind of looking at it like I normally do, We have a lot of sell-off here. We do have some buyers that came in, but there's a lot of momentum that's been sold off here. So on the short term, I think it's going to be pretty volatile. I still see this kind of needing to base out. SILJ, again, the buyers stepped in here. We're coming in this downtrend, and we're still in momentum downtrend. This hasn't created a pattern to turn up yet. So we could see some further downside. I'm just being patient here. Endeavor Silver, again, we have a lot of momentum coming down. I'd like to see this kind of work its way off. But what's good is the buyers are stepping in here. They are pushing the price higher. I just want to make sure that we're confirming this. And First Majestic Silver, again, bearish engulfing there. We came down, looked like it was going to stage a run, and we're basing out, I think, which is good. It's going to take some time. Franco-Nevada looks a lot better. Bullish engulfing, moved higher, pulled back with small down days. I still think it's going to scribe out a little bit. We pull back to this support line, and I think I'm expecting a move higher out of Franco-Nevada. And then Teuton Resources is my favorite small little royalty company, but it's very volatile. This guy is looking a little bit better. I still think we could kind of base out here and wait for the entire other group to catch up, but Teuton could move quite a bit. Discovery Silver, I wanted to talk about this one. We have some downward momentum, and it's trying to work it off right now, so that looks better. And Impact Silver's putting in a bullish engulfing today, bullish engulfing here. That's pretty good for a setup that could potentially move higher, unless the sellers just continue to come in here and sell. We had two bullish engulfings here and a bullish piercing here, which looked like that was going to move up, but we still sold off. And then Metallic Minerals, another small exploration company, very volatile. A nice bullish engulfing here. I think we were going to launch, but I'm sure they're trying to suppress this as best they can. Another bullish engulfing here, bullish piercing, bullish engulfing. It's showing up everywhere where the buyers are putting in signals that they are buying it. So we'll see what happens here. It looks like a huge opportunity when you start comparing patterns on gold, silver, and all those other ones. It looks like we're right there ready to launch. Now, are these guys going to try to come in here and manipulate it? I don't know. They very well, if they're going to manipulate it, they got to be in there right now doing it, because this thing's aligning for a massive moonshot over the long term. Short term, these things are going to move all around. Long term, I think it looks pretty good. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Thanks for listening. This is Finding Value.